Yo, what's going on, y'all? What's going on? Welcome back to another high fire episode of Audible Podcast. I'm your host, the man, the Wody. Wody son, I had to give y'all a quick little pause. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Thank y'all for stopping by for another hot fire um episode. We in the dusk of the day. I don't know if dusk of the day. I don't know if that makes sense, but we in dusk time. Um, up late morning gargling coffee, drinking coffee, trying to figure it out with the master plan on the walls. Um, I appreciate y'all for stopping by for another high fire episode. Let's get into it. So, first, what I want y'all to do is stop by crossthestreams.com. Check out the plethora. I've been in a synonym book, a plethora of podcasts at crossstreams.com. We got a little bit for everything. So, any piece of entertainment, comedy, everything is all there. Uh, and also, you can subscribe to my podcast at any place where you can subscribe to the podcast to, I would assume. Let's get into it. So the first thing came in with the goggly. So the first thing I would like to discuss. There's been a lot going on in the last couple weeks. Jesus, let me take a little sip here. There's been a lot going on the last couple weeks, right? So um we've had another school shoot. Get the I really don't get this part of the simulation. You know what I mean? I think we've, and by we've, I mean society, um, and maybe myself. That's why I say we. I don't think it's much because there's a lot of stuff I just can't see. We've been become very numb to murder and killing and a lot of stuff, right? So, one of my big takeaways from, let's say, like the 2020 protests that we had, and police just kind of beating the shit out of people, right? So just think of this on a surface. It's just humans and humans, right? It's just like just like the police said, you police, well, we're human too. But I saw women get maced, beat. Saw people that weren't doing anything getting beat. Um, so the line between the government and the people have been crossed. Well, it's been crossed a long fucking time ago. I'm just thinking, a little bit more recently. It gets crossed every single fucking day, actually. But um, the line between where a quote unquote worker is and what a human is has been crossed several times. Um, you go back to any day and age and see, for instance, as we saw somebody decide to shoot up a school. It was when I was in school. We had I went to a terrible school, right? So we had security. Maybe a cop would be there, but it was more because we was in that motherfucker fight. It was just more because of that. We was in that bitch fight, and sometimes people will fight, and a lot of us stayed in the same neighborhood. So, and a lot of us had, and I don't know how it is for a lot of y'all, but in New Orleans, like a lot of us go to the same schools as our cousins and our like the exact same schools. You know what I mean? So, it's a lot of history at some of these places. Because when you're from the same neighborhoods, whether you like people, you dislike people, all that kind of passed down and carried on. New Orleans not a big place. It's not a big place at all. And stuff like that can happen in huge places, like Houston, for instance, where it's 5-6 million people. Um, but security used to be at our school because basically, people would fight. and their house would be 3 blocks away. Like nobody has cell phones, but my house 3 blocks. Like my big brother probably already home. Like, bam, I ain't no brother, but that's what people do. Um, and next thing you know, by the time the school in, big brother outside, a cousin outside. You coming out to school, you gotta fight. Your friends are gonna help you fight it. It was security was more for that. Um, there's always been shootings and all that stuff, but there used to at least used to be some kind of sacred ground when it came to things, and even as students, I don't remember people. Yeah, nobody ever like. We've never had a school shooting. I went to. Yeah, we never had nothing like that. So I don't know, but I think that sanctity of sacred ground was broken a long time ago. Since not even since Columbine, it's been since Sandy Hook. Really. Um, I remember when Columbine happened. Of course, I was a kid, but I was super young. But when I got older, and then you start seeing about that shit, you be like, damn, that it'd be crazy some shit like that happen in our school, but we never even thought about nothing like that. Actually, we thought about. I wouldn't think about nothing. Actually, I wouldn't really worry about much. Like I said, everybody, pretty much every school I went to, you from that neighborhood, so yeah, yeah, I didn't really have to worry about much. But um, yeah, I think whatever sacred ground we crossed it a long time ago, and obviously, um, just like everything else that makes a tremendous amount of money, uh, our government would do absolutely nothing to stop people from overindulging in themselves. It's like our fast food industry, um, where they know, we all know 30% of this shit is seahorse meat, and we still bite into it. We still buy it. I had a burger yesterday. I had a hot and spicy the other day. I know that ain't chicken. That's probably fucking a platypus or something like that. We all know it. So it's been embedded into our culture at this point. I mean, fucking McDonald's is older than all of us. Um, so we have a government that's complicit with just about anything as long as money is involved. I think we all know that. I think a lot of times, well, most of the times, um, things are split up into politics, and then there's other categories that I don't consider politics. I consider more human rights, and people kind of slide that into politics. False racism. Um, somehow that's people think that's a political issue, and not a fucking human rights, and not a hate. Like the thing I dislike about racism is like just let me give you a chance. Give me a chance to piss you off. If like I could just call you a bitch, and we could just even it off. You already at a 10 because I'm black. I might as well just put you to a 20. It's just plain old ignorance. I don't get it, but it's not for me to get. But either way, um, we passed this sacred ground. I think a very long time ago, and just like with cigarettes, just like alcohol won't be going anywhere. Alcohol was, it's essential at this point. Well, not at this point. It's essential. It's essential. It's like the food market was open, just like the grocery store open. The liquor store need to be open. Even in a pandemic. Um, it took a long time for them to fix cigarettes, and it wasn't even them. It was kind of people like it kind of is fucking bad for us. But they also replaced cigarettes with weed, so it seems as though um they only they only want to get rid of one stream of income when the second stream of income is already in the bag. Case in point, while we're still dealing with oil and all of this stuff, um, while that's clean and safe, um, wind energy and solar energy and different things. I could tell you, if anybody that listens to this podcast has ever driven west to just West Texas, I-10, you'll see thousands and thousands, literally thousands of wind turbines that are straddled throughout West Texas. If you're going out, I drove to El Paso, so I know how the fucking West Texas look. If anybody has ever went to drove Texas and you see the miles next to El Paso, I drove there before. There's turbines all through West Texas. West Texas politicians here, they get federal money. They get money from the federal government to have those wind turbines here because those wind turbines, they give enough power, enough energy, and they power several cities in West Texas. I believe Bakersfield is one of them. I believe I drove through Bakersfield. It's a lot of it is just, uh, I never been that way. I think it's Bakersfield, Texas. Um, so I didn't know how mountainous Texas really was. When you really get more toward, really close to El Paso, uh, it's real actually really nice. I don't know how anybody could ever stay out there. I mean, if it was like that around here, I would be kind of cool with it. I wouldn't be that crazy about it, but I'd be kind of cool with it. Let's see, it's Bakersfield. Yeah, it's Bakersfield is one of them. So there's several cities that are being powered by wind turbine energy right now. And that's not just Texas, it's South Texas. I had to go to Brownsville. It's 5 hours down. Very close to the border. If anybody ever been to Brownsville, Texas, there's them down there. So when people tell you there's no other way, it's because I got too much money coming from here. So I'm not gonna give that up. Anybody with sense, whether you're pro gun or not, I'm whatever with guns. I think at this point, America is too violent as far as culturally. This is a hyper violent country. We've been past that actually. We've been a hyper violent country since this bitch was put together actually. Because at some point, either most other countries like, you know what, slavery is like, maybe we should treat people like this. The Americans like, no, we're gonna keep going until we can't go no more. Literally. Even other people's like, hey, we've been cutting these niggas' heads off and bowling them down a street for a couple hundred years. Let's kind of chill out. America's like, no, we're gonna go up, we're gonna double that. We're gonna double down on that. Like they didn't the civil rights movement, it didn't work. America was just getting shamed from the rest of the world for still treating people like so bad. It's not like they care. It's not like you know what I mean? We've been embedded into each other's social system for a generation. Just one. So when a lot of people see all of, the weird social interactions that we still have, um, motherfucker, we just got amongst y'all. We've like as an entire country, this is like the first generation. It's been like I'm not gonna say the first generation, but it's been like one full generation of really no bullshit. No outright bullshit. No, no obvious 1962 type bullshit. You know what I mean? Um, so with guns, my thing is we'll fall past, the whole fucking country at therapy ain't gonna fix everybody in a year, or in two, or in 10, or in 20, or in 100. We're gonna always have guns here. whatever we can do to get the most crazy ones. Handguns, I mean, I don't really have a problem with these motherfuckers. Uh, cause like I said, it's something that just can't go away. There's women that we need them, we need them, we need them, we need them. But the super automatic ones, I don't know guns enough to know which one, shoot 30 rounds or 50. I don't know nothing about that shit. But what I do know is we got a lot of crazy motherfuckers. We got a lot of weak men. Some I saw recently with the rapper in Atlanta, Trouble. Um, Apparently, from how the initial stories are going, he was at a chick house, and the dude that was stalking the chick came over and killed him. I guess they got in a scuffle, killed him over the, whatever. If this is the initial story, like I said, I don't know how it's going. Um, it's just a lot of weak men. So now one dude dead, he probably got kids. This woman is probably mortified. And if the story was true, this woman have been she been being stalked. Like it's niggas that don't fight niggas. It's grown men that won't fight grown men. How you think women feel? How vulnerable you think they feel? So now she's being stalked. She can't do nothing. She's probably getting weird calls. And this dude comes over. And this would be the crazy thing. He probably treat the chick like shit, but don't know one nobody. How do we get to this point? How do And that's just a story. I don't want to get too far in the weeds with that, but how did we get so weak? How did American society? How it is movie culture and social media and all that shit really to blame? I don't really get that. I just think motherfuckers is just weak. I think motherfuckers is just weak. To put the guns down and put the boxing gloves up, man. People been saying that for 25 years. Um, Now do I think, as I said before, we've been kind of numb to a lot. Um, if you think a lot of us was playing cops and robbers, cowboys and Indians when we was 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever years old, bang, bang, bang. We've been holding guns up just instinctively. That's not even like I be seeing little kids playing these little kids just around here. They from other countries, maybe from whatever little country. I know they're from different country because them and their parents ain't speaking English. They just playing soccer, nigga. That's what we used to do, nigga. We just play football. We did a little bang, 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 but we started playing football after. I don't know where the gun obsession um comes from in America. It's mirrored because I've seen weird pictures with uh, white people and their family. It's like a family of four, little 2-year girl missing 3 teeth. She holding a big ass Mossberg. What's going on? Uh, we got niggas flashing whatever in the hood. This been forever. So niggas and guns, this has been a thing forever, and it's even worse now with social media. Because in every rap video for the last 12 years, think about this. This is what I talk about when I've been talking about, yeah, I guess Tupac said this a long time ago. Um, Make the babies that hate the latest. Like, if you think of every rap video, maybe in the last 11 years, it's really just dudes and guns. It's barely even women in the videos. And this is and at first I thought this is an incel thing. You know what this is really, but I'm not gonna lie. At first I just thought an incel is a white boy thing. Some Reddit white boys got some whitey tights on. They wearing them. They got them on their head like Doug Funny, and they hate women. But this is a nigga thing too, and it's a Hispanic thing. It's an Asian thing. So I know that's why when I address this, why I say it's a men thing. Um, and obsessive men over women. That's a societal thing. That's been going on since year two. But some, I would assume, in 2022, um, things will become less primal. But I think we're far away from that. So, um, I don't really have a super duper opinion on guns. I think we should have the like. It's not like this is fucking 1712 where we need to go hunt deer to eat. You know what I mean? These are not essential tools. If they said we're gonna take all knives from everybody, they'd be like, "Damn, nigga, what, am I gonna use? We got to use plastic knives because regular knives is too dangerous for everybody." Um, but and why I say it's not really advantageous to get rid of guns in general here because our government has been selling guns to its citizens for like 40 years, illegally and legally. So I mean, this is a systematic thing. And the more legal guns that are on the street, the more illegal guns that's gonna be on the street. They go hand in hand. One doesn't rise without the other. And I mean that's just regular shootings. When it comes to mass shootings, these shits have been legal guns. Um, no other country has this problem. Any other country that had this problem solved it fairly quickly. But somewhere along the line, like I said, we're just gonna have to wait until somebody important gets shot. I don't really, I guess until um it's all nameless faces and all nameless children. Uh, I guess this shit gonna continue on. I mean, that's just how things go typically. Just like with a lot of things we saw with George Floyd, those things been going on, and then you got the George Floyd whatever award and the George Floyd statue and a trophy. Like, nah, nigga, it didn't take this nigga down for you to fix these issues. Um, but sometimes when people have it's always about somebody trying to get themselves forward. So I'm sure when it fits somebody's political gain, we'll get some actual fixes. Because there's no real talks between either side, Democrat or Republican. They all make money from this stuff. So just like cigarettes, they're going to and and I don't I'm not gonna say I don't blame 'em, I am gonna say that. Because Americans, I'm gonna say I won't blame them. Americans think that you just get to do whatever you want. And there's some shit that you don't even want to do anyway. Like there's no other country where some dude was like, yo, let's go fire off 85 rounds into a thing. Like niggas in Italy is not really, like millions of people in Italy, they're not really thinking that shit. It's not 22 million guns of just one type of gun, just AR-15s. It's like 22 million AR-15s floating around United States. You can't clean that up. So that's what I'm saying. Times like this for something dramatic, it's gonna take just something more important or dramatic than children dying. Because obviously, it's been said to Hook that nothing has changed. Um, but this is not a normal thing. Every other country doesn't work like this. Even when there's normal citizens, you can say all that shit about Mexico, but the cartels and regular ass, I'm talking about regular ass motherfuckers. How cartels and however they operate, that's one thing. I'm talking about regular niggas that's trying to go to school, trying to get a job. They not really operate like that. I don't know why you got 32 guns. Who you think you is? If you got 28 guns and you got them in a safe, I got one here, I got one here. What kind of standoff are you think you about to hold off for? Who? So that's why when I say, Americans want to do stuff for the sake of doing it, just because they can. There's a lot of shit you have in your house you don't really need. Like, it's a lot of shit we do we don't really need to do. Um, and like I said, we're just in America, everything is hyper everything. It's hyper violent, it's hypersexual because hypersexual, hyper violence, they come together. And we've been on this spiral. Um, I I know it's cyclical. Because if I said, for instance, remember I had a previous podcast when I talked about murders in like New York in the 70s. Them shits was like 2,200, 2,400, 3,000 murders per year in New York in the 70s, late 60s, 70s, 80s, 1,300. Like, the numbers now are fucking bad. Like Chicago, 600. Yeah, that's bad. But like 2,200 fucking murders throughout different years in the 70s, 2,000. That's a fucking lot. So we've been, when they say in certain places we've been overpopulated, yeah, that's because 1,800 motherfuckers is not getting killed every day or every year in just New York. So as America, we just have a. And I didn't mean to go on this long about this, but it's just something I've been kind of thinking about. We just. I think there's at this point, in America, there's a need for guns. But I think handguns are more than good enough for the average motherfucker. Um, with a conceal and carry license, and anything above that, if you ain't got a special actual permit for it, there should be certain guns that's out there that's super strong. I don't know, like I said, I don't know guns, but whatever's out there that's doing the most killing, take them off the street. Handguns, whatever, feel free. Because there's a difference between someone with 30 or 40 going at your ass and 12 or 17, 18, whatever you got. The regular person don't need that. You work at Sam's. You work at T-Mobile. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't see us ever getting past this point. Like I said, it's gonna take something extremely dramatic, and there's gonna be some politicians gonna just have to, wrap everything up. Maybe we get another crime bill. Uh, but you know, like, crime is up compared to last year and compared to the last couple of years. It's nowhere near. One of the problems and I don't think it's a problem. It's social media. Because even in 2000 and fucking 8, I didn't know what the fuck was going on in every single place in the country and in the world. You know what I mean? Like, ignorance was really bliss in 80s and 90s and 2000s. And yeah, I think it's going to have to take some dramatic, man. So otherwise, uh, to the men, man up. What's going on? Like, Jesus Christ, it's too many women. It's too much. Jail? What? Jail? Jail? Niggas want to go to jail? How? What? What? You know what's in jail? Nothing. Sign me up for restocking the Mountain Dew at Walgreens 6 days a week, nigga. What's wrong with everybody? Who we all seen Pablo. We all seen Narcos. The nigga from Narcos, Cali, the Cali cartel, this nigga just died in prison. What's his name? I think Gilbert. This nigga just died in prison. Nicky Barnes, Frank Matthews. Y'all watching Snowfall right now. Them niggas went to jail and they're way smarter than you. They had way more control. This nigga from Rick Freeway, he worked with the CIA. How can you get even more plugged in? You can't get more plugged in with that. How, bruh, how many more levels of plugged in can you be if you working with the CIA? Now, nigga on the street, tell me how what you gonna do? Nothing but get caught. That's always hard. Like, how can nobody? What's the consequence of jail? You don't get to eat how you want. You don't get to sleep how you want. If somebody's telling you when to piss and shit. I saw Young Thug. He was doing they was trying to see if he can get bond. He raising his hand, asking the people, "Can he go pee, please?" He been holding it. He's a multi-millionaire. He could be. I don't know how rap work. It could possibly be worth 8 figures. 8, 8. It could be 6. It could be 7. It could be fucking 5. He could be worth. But he worth 8. And I raising his hand, asking adults, and he a grown ass man with kids, can he go pee? Because he been holding it a while. That's what y'all think life about? What? Being broke on the streets is 20 times better. I have no idea how niggas can't figure it out. You might as well just work 2 jobs if you want to sit in jail. That's the same thing. Well, it's not the same thing, but your time is you doing much better with your fucking time out here. You sit in jail 24 hours, or you could just work a job and a part-time job. It's 12 hours of your day. Make them close to each other. That way you ain't gotta travel for both of them bitches. Make them both see if you can both get them around your house. That way you can walk to both of them bitches. Figure life out. Because jail ain't ever been it. I have no idea. The just change like you risk taking for peanuts. It's cats out here like, people on a when it comes to drugs, crack. Like I said, you see everything on TV. You see how the hood go. People in war over corners that not theirs. It never has been, and it still ain't to this day. Hundreds of people dying over nothing. Zero. You're not even real risk taking, man. You're not even You're not even making bread, bruh. These drug dealers don't be making no money, dog. They don't make no money. And you doing an ultimate risk take? You're not even making more than a nigga working at Costco, a nigga working at Bucky starting off at 25 an hour. You're not even bringing more than him. You working harder. You worry about the police and niggas trying to take your shit. And your risk is way higher. I just don't get it. It's just not a logical thing. You niggas ain't Pablo. That nigga, he ran the country and he got killed by the same police that couldn't touch him. One day a snap of a fucking finger happened and he gone. So, this weak problem, I just it's a man thing. It's a man thing entirely because the women are reacting to the men. The women are terrible too. But I know it's a reaction because you gotta look at what's out here. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. Look at these incels, man. Look at these cats, man. You poison the well, man. So yeah, I'm just terribly confused at a lot of things, man. Just I'm very confused. Not even want to talk about this long, and I have to horribly transition to something else. But geez, man, put some common sense together. Put some grind together. You can sell weed, then you can sell anything, dummy. See if you can find somebody that sell nigga Pepsi. I don't know. Get it wholesale. Undercut. Sell cans on the side. I don't know what you can do, nigga. Figure it out. Be the candy lady. Be the candy man. Sell some sprites, nigga. Sell some chili cheese Fritos. Small nut. So we're gonna move from the people that just give me the worst type of stomach ache. That's weak motherfuckers. And we're gonna try to move on to some tiny, tiny, tiny bit more positive. And we're gonna hardly transition. We go just fucking U-turn with no light, no nothing. We're just gonna hit the U-turn. Over to the NBA final. Let's talk about the NBA real quick, man. Let's get it in. So, all right, so it's 1-1, right? And what I would like to know is what are these playoffs in general? Because do we really know who is the best? If we have a close game and then a complete fucking blowout and then a close game and then a complete fucking blowout and then two more blowouts to end the game in the series, what are we watching? We just watched the Warriors get ran down on the game one, and we just watched the Celtics commit maybe 30 turnovers in 3 quarters in the second one. Marcus Smart, I'm not even looking at it. Marcus Smart and Al Horford had at least 22 points apiece. Both of them combined this game had 4 points. That's it. I wasn't gonna say nothing after that. They just had 4 points, nigga. Combined 2 and 2. Grant Williams had like 6 points. Robert Williams had like 6 points. I think Grant Williams had 4 points. So that's about three people in the rotation, the starting 10 rotation, with like 6 points. How what is basketball? I don't even want to talk about the finals. What the fuck is basketball, right? So we had the Suns and Pelicans series, right? And to me, I knew the Pelicans was gonna lose, but the Suns, obviously, they look fragile. They look mentally fragile, and I said it. I said that they were front runners. I could tell that they were front runners. I can look at them and tell, and I know who the front runner is because the same player was on another team where that team was called front runners. When they're up, they're up. It's shit talking. They're the happiest team out there. When they're down, you don't hear nothing. It's dirty plays and everything else that go along. So I knew Phoenix wouldn't last. Ultimately, they didn't. But look at Memphis, right? When you Golden State, how can you lose? I can't. My brain's like putting aluminum foil in the microwave right now. How can you lose a game by 55 fucking points? Like We're talking about a team that is like heavily favored to win the NBA Finals. They lost a playoff game by 55 fucking points. How many times have the Warriors been blown out this playoffs? How many blowouts has there been this playoff? It had to be a lot. What is the NBA, right? So I've been watching a couple podcasts recently. One of the men was like Gilbert Arenas podcast, right? And I don't really watch. I like some of the guests he be having on because the guests are different, right? So he had somebody you do, and I don't know if I told y'all this, and I would say after Jordan retired until about 2010, 12 ish, I didn't watch basketball at all. I haven't. I know what happened. Like I can tell you who won the finals. You know, the Lakers got the three, then the Pistons, and then somewhere in there, I know the Spurs got the one before that. After Jordan retired, the Spurs, and then the Lakers, then the Pistons. Spurs got a couple more in between there, etc. I know who won. Well, basketball was real. It was a transitioning product, and it really wasn't that good of a product. And when you give about the mid 2000s, it was the loss of, I would say, one of the last superstars was the Shaq Super Duper Stars. He had gone into his I would say a little bit more of a role playing phase. This is when he went to Phoenix. LeBron was young. It was obvious he was gonna be good. You could tell. But that whole time period, it seems like a lost time period. Maybe if you're a Lakers fan, if you're a Celtics fan, you remember, the 2000, what the fuck was going on 2007 NBA season. I have no idea. But I remember this guy. His name is Dante Jones. I got lost there, but I'm back. And he plays extremely dirty, right? So in the interview, he was talking about guarding Kobe. He's pushing Kobe. He pushed Kobe in the air. He's like, I could have pushed him in midair. I would have really hurt him if I wanted to hurt him. But he pushed him. It was trying to hurt him either way. Um, him putting his feet on the guys. Um, him clipping guys. He say clip Kobe. He chased him down like he got elbow in the throat and he clipped him. I don't know when the last time I tried to like clip somebody. Maybe 5 years old. No, and that was just a. That's when you just hit somebody back foot just a little bit, just a little pop, and you just give them a little stumble, or you just bump. You know how people be standing up straight, and you bump their knee with your knee, and they kind of fall back a little bit. Not outright chasing somebody and pushing and clipping them. Like it's a little wild. So this guy's talking about. So I see his interview and I go watch his highlights. He's 100% dirty. He's 100% dirty. He's the dirtiest product I've ever seen. But he had a very interesting talk with Gilbert around about players being on a team with people, and and it's a perspective I never even thought about. He said a lot of the time, he's not a lot of times, most of the times, and you could take this with a grain of salt because who is Dante Jones? You know what I mean? He played in the NBA, but question marks, right? But he was saying that Gilbert agree with it. Gilbert's crazy, so I don't know how to take his word either. You know, on basketball teams, there are guys that are just workers, and there are guys that just play basketball. They just come in there because they know how to play basketball. That's really it. So he was saying like AI when he played with Denver with AI, and he said he see AI for like 2 months in practice. He mean like no practicing, no coming to, drilling, whatever they used to do. AI never came to that shit. But in the game, he would show up. So you would say it'd be a lot of people like that. Some guys that just play basketball because it's just they know how to play basketball. They don't really have a love for the game. They don't really, they're not putting up 10,000 shots. They're not doing this. They're not doing that. You get what I'm saying? You see what I mean? And I try to relay that to a real life work situation to where, you kind of give your all maybe when you really like a job. And there's other people that just really here to get a check. That's kind of what he's saying. Uh, But in the essence of basketball, that's kind of weird because you kind of get paid that much to compete, or do you just get paid that much because you're famous? So that's kind of I guess that's the line. But it just seems real weird to me that you can have a team where you have guys that just come in there and they come to all the practices. They do this, they do shoot runs, they do extra shots, they do extra training. You have some people that just don't need to do that at all. Or you may have role players that don't want to do that at all. They just come in and kind of do their thing. Don't get better, just kind of collect their check and keep going. They're just naturally talented. You know what I mean? Um, and I see that, and that type of, and I take that mindset that he was talking about, and I bring that to the inconsistency of this playoffs because these are legit blowouts. Like, dog, the '90s games was a lot of them was boring, and it was some fucking '88s and '83s. But at least he was 88 and 83. Niggas is losing by 30 every other game. This is what is this? Is this like a is this a point spreading thing? Is this a betting thing? Is this just to throw the over unders all completely off? Because I would assume in the typical NBA fashion, in normal playoffs, where the game is slower, it was probably a lot easier to bet in the '90s, in the early 2000s, where betting wasn't legal in more places than it is. It's more legal than it has ever been. And it's still not legal in fucking half the places. It's probably not legal in 10% of the places, and it's still more legal than it's any been. Uh, People talk about American freedom. Talk about that shit. You can't even fucking gamble. Um, but I would like to know y'all opinion on the causes of these blowouts because this is the fucking NBA playoffs, bro. This has been every series, the entire playoffs, where the games are dramatically different. So is this a non-LeBron thing for the Eastern Conference? Is this a Has LeBron always just been that high up in tier and hierarchy as far as the Eastern Conference? Is this type of sloppy play why they could never get past him? And as far as the Warriors losing by 55, let's just say LeBron was still in Cleveland with whatever variation you want to put him against. Bruh, there's no way I would put them as a favorite to beat LeBron. LeBron's not losing by niggas that lost by 55 before. And I'm saying this as a 62% LeBron hater. He not losing to niggas that lost by 55 in the playoffs. No matter who they got. So I want to research. I want y'all to holler at me, see if y'all heard more stories like what Dante Jones said. I forget. He said he brought up AI, just as a thing, but AI was just naturally gifted. And you kind of think of the AI practice rank. And that practice rant was that was in Philly. He played with AI in Denver, and he was like he never showed up to any practices. And we had practice 2 hours. He never came up to none of them, and AI still averaged 27. You know what I mean? And he was like, "Yeah, we used to hit the club. We used to go out. Bam, we hit the bar. Then we hit the club. We leave. Bam." He'd be like, "Yo, when y'all gonna go?" He never show up. Need to show up for the game. Put up 30. So some people are like that. I wouldn't recommend that for everybody. That was just AI. But what if there's just role players like that? Why has that never been really exposed before? Why is that taking until now for somebody to say, "Yo, there's people on the team that just kind of play basketball that just don't play it. Like they just kind of play it because they're just good at it." To me, sports and anything competitive, it's always been a love of the game type of thing. Otherwise, I wouldn't play it. I don't play casual sports games or casual sports. We going out playing football, we playing baseball. I don't like basketball. And game on in real life. I never did like basketball. I I'm really surprised of getting into it now. I never liked basketball. Basketball was never it's not physical enough. But I just think it's weird, man. I just think that we've had a playoff like this. And as far as the different I'll get into actual finals because somehow I got caught up again. Um it's really hard for me to root for either one of these teams that I really care. That's why I really don't. I haven't really watched it. I've seen a couple minutes of the last game, a couple minutes of the first game. The Warriors thing, I'm not over it, and over as far as it's the Warriors again, that type of thing. I'm just kind of over them. Like I'm tired of seeing fucking Draymond Green on TV. Like I'm kind of tired of that. Kind of done. Yeah, I kind of tired of that shit. The Celtics is just not consistent. We're playing fantastic basketball, but it'd be good for see Tatum and Brown really, come in and, as two young guys from the root and get a championship themselves. But I mean, at the end of the day, they play for the Celtics. I mean, goodness, be happy for the Celtics to win a what? So I'm really in a dilly of a pickle here when it comes to these finals because I could give two two shits about the actual outcome about this. So you know, I- everything is I don't know, man. I think things socially we're just way past a lot of stuff. I don't think a lot of stuff can be fixed. Um, because everybody ain't getting therapy, and everybody not gonna get therapy. I'm not gonna get no damn therapy, but I ain't a fucking hyper violent crazy man. So I think there's people that probably need to get it before me. Um, what I would say is for everybody to be safe. Stay dangerous at the same time. Don't let no motherfuckers talk to you crazy. Conflict resolution. What I like to do is, I don't do it enough. Is I like to, picture myself thinking 2 hours ahead. How do I feel about a situation 30 minutes after it? Because a lot of times you can be real mad about something, and then in an hour, you wouldn't even care. Or in 2 hours, it wouldn't even be on your mind no more. Or in 6 hours, you would forget it even happened. You know what I mean? I try to think like that. Um, I've always kind of thought like that. Uh, like I said, we had conflict resolution classes when I was in elementary school, dog. So I remember those classes. But I've always been a somewhat of a mediator in general. because I think a lot of shit is just stupid. I think a lot of shit's just ego. A lot of people can't get over themselves. A lot of people just can't get out the way. A lot of people want to do things their way, and even if it's done wrong, they want it done their way until it ends. Like, I'm doing this shit the wrong way. We're gonna do this shit the wrong way until it fucking crash. Because your right way is going to embarrass my wrong way, and I'm gonna have to admit that I'm wrong. So we have a lot of that. Um, but if you could think 20, 30 minutes ahead, think an hour from now, think 2 hours from now, there's a lot of situations that you were really mad about or real sad about, and it don't even matter no more. You could be listening to me right now and trying to think of those things, and you can't even pop them into your fucking head right now because that's how much you done forgot about it. I think if a lot of men thought like this, they say, "Oh, put on the gloves." That don't mean nothing either, because you get embarrassed in the gloves, you're gonna come back around. The same thing will happen. Just not do nothing at all. Because once you put hands on somebody, unless you cool with them, it's real hard to not to get that up. It's just not a. It's not a. It's not nature. It's not nature. Two lions don't fight and just kind of still sit in the same territory. It don't work like that. Um, but we have the ability for it to not even get to that level. So it takes a lot of humility. It takes a lot of thought. Takes a little compassion to say, "Yo, I'm gonna just be a nice person. Hey, let me hold this door open for you. Hey, let me not even me. I do it. I'm everything. It's so subconscious for me to hold a door open for somebody, or to do this or do that, or excuse me, or bam bam, because I'm not even thinking about it. The problems I'm dealing with, people don't do are not my problem. My problem, my issue I'm dealing with life is about money, getting bread, doing all this. So being rude or being mad, that does nothing for me. I get no feelings from that. Some people get feelings from making other people look bad. I get nothing from that. I've never got nothing from that. At school, we used to joke. I was one of the joke people. We was cool. Everybody, everything was cool. I get you get nothing from humility from somebody, but some people get a lot from that. It's just natural. Um, but I was here to just try to fight those urges, man. And like I said, when we was young, they said, "Hey, man, y'all get in the gloves," and that's what everybody was. But it shouldn't even get to that point at the same time, because once you fight somebody, once you put some hands to somebody, once you put out force, let's say you want to hurt somebody, we ain't fucking MMA fighters. It ain't our job, nigga. We ain't professionals. We can't. This ain't hugging at the end of the bell. So that's why I would say I practice conflict resolution. Think about what your situation is. Think about what's going on. Think about in the 30 minutes. Think about, is it worth it? Think about all that shit, because there's steps of escalation. And just saying, you know what? These motherfuckers stupid. Let me go home. Let me get around from these stupid motherfuckers. Or being at a club, being like, you know what? These crazy motherfuckers is in here. Let me go home. Why would I be in here another 2 hours? I already been here an hour and a half. Let me go. That type of thinking, preemptive thinking, um, I think it does a lot. So I appreciate y'all for listening. It's been another hot fire episode. Stay safe and stay very, very dangerous. Holler.